take your soul if you let them. Oh, but don't you let them. No, no. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running just to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. And I'll be there. Yes, I will. And I'll be there. Yes, I will. You got a friend. Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday.
So thank you. Happy Sunday. That was Mr. Jason Goldstein. Let's give him some love.
Thank you.
Here in the sanctuary, and those of you joining us on the chat, he might even go back and see what you're saying about him behind his back. So my name is Reverend Dr. Michael McMorrow. If you're joining us for the first time online for the Love Stream, welcome. We are coming to you live from the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills, California. It's a faith community located in the North San Fernando Valley, where we practice our beliefs and where we welcome all who practice their beliefs in faith and love. So that was Mr. Jason Goldstein, one of our musical directors here today. And also our presider today is our assistant minister, Reverend Nancy Woods. So let's give her some love. Big welcome. And may the 4th be with you. And also with you. Come on, where's all the old Catholics at? All right, okay. I guess we've washed that man right out of our hair, maybe. All right. So let's just get started now by taking a deep, conscious breath and feel the release as we just allow ourselves to surrender to this moment, this eternal now moment, as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. And that fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this morning. So as Reverend Nancy lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. The fourth candle we light for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. we light the 9th candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. The 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here in our sanctuary, within our online community, and of course within our own hearts. And as Reverend Nancy lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
There is one flame that burns in our hearts. There is one light that shines through our love. We light this flame with faith. We light this flame with faith. We find this light within our souls. There is one flame, one light within.
As we embrace this idea and understanding that this one light that we are recognizing is that light of truth, that light of love, that light of harmony, that light of the greater good that we are all seeking to experience, as well as the light from which we all come. Knowing and recognizing that this oneness of the universe and how infinite it is in its manifestation. As we look around us and with our hearts open and receptive, we realize that this oneness comes in many phases and ways of expression. And knowing that this infinite presence that we are experiencing in this moment is that oneness of life, saying yes to being alive, yes to the idea and understanding that we are creating newness moment by moment. And as we embrace this consciousness of being the divine in manifestation, we realize that as we open ourselves in this hour, we open ourselves to expand the experience of being who and what we are, the truth of our being. And we rejoice because we know that that which unfolds in this hour blesses absolutely everyone. So with the joy of being who and what we are, and saying yes to being alive and being able to express and manifest, we express our gratitude and appreciation of each other as we realize that this oneness is what we are and what we are manifesting and expressing. So we joyfully join together and allowing this truth to be that which we are seeking to know as we say together. And so it is. Oh. Good morning, everybody. And the joy of life is what I wanted to share about today. You know, through the years, you give and identify the qualities of God, and then we try to figure out the matching those qualities with what's going on in our life. And eventually you figure out that those qualities is what you bring forth in expression in our lives, what we bring forth in our lives. So the idea of joy, it is one of those things that I have been looking at recently, and I was writing little notes about joy the last couple of days, and I have to give a little bit of credit to the fact that I'm listening to Love is Letting Go of Fear. I let it put me to sleep each night. If you could, it is something that you might want to check out sometimes. Love is letting go of fear. And we know that those qualities like joy, peace, love, and harmony, we attribute to that divine presence. We realize when we embrace the idea that it is who and what we are, we realize that the joy and the peace and love that we are seeking is already within us. And that instead of us finding things out there that's going to make the joy, we bring the joy forth, and the things that are around us are the result of it. I know it just seems like in life, it was the other way around, but eventually we get it, that all the joy that you could possibly want to experience is already within us. So bringing it into expression, that's the journey. And it really is. And I have to tell you, when I stand up here and I look at the faces, I experience that joy coming forth into expression. And what I'm learning and gaining in awareness is that joy that I'm experiencing, and I'm experiencing it right now, is coming from the choices I make, the thoughts that I embrace, the understanding that I allow to flow forth through me. And recognizing the truth that I am that I am, that I'm seeking to know. I am that already. I am all those things that I'm seeking to manifest and bring forth in life. It's a breathtaking awareness. And sometimes it's only moments, but I appreciate it, even if it is just a few moments. And I thank all of you, because you're a part of that joy that I feel like is coming out of me. So thank you for letting me share that.
Every morning, the light keeps getting brighter. It's as I wake up to the truth. And every day, I'm feeling so much lighter. And the world seems fresh and new. What I was taught and the way I thought stopped serving me long ago. And now I'm learning to trust in the God and all of us. Each day I start anew, and so I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that leads me to confusion. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that leads me to the sadness. Today is the day I walk away. Every day is the day I walk away. So every morning it brings new beginnings. By grace another day to be. And I awaken to the sun upon me shining, lighting the way for me to see. The way I saw it and the way I thought, it stopped serving me long ago. Now I'm learning to trust in the God and all of us. Of yesterday I'm letting go. So I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that leads me to confusion. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the less than that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. Yes, I'm walking away from the path that leads me to the sadness. Today is the day I walk away. Yes, today is the day I walk away. Let every day be the day I walk away.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, that's powerful, huh? Yeah. I really love that. Thank you. Whew. Announcements. They're here somewhere. Okay. Practitioners are available today for a 2-minute tune-up. So if you want to step into something greater, tap a practitioner on the shoulder. And we got quite a few in there. Raise up your hands, practitioners. step into something greater for yourself. Monday is our second class, and it's the last class you can join for our spiritual mind treatment class, which Andrea and I are doing on Monday night. It's online and in person. And it's really, it's a nice class, and it's really about exploring this concept. We keep talking about treatment and finding what's comfortable for each one of us. And that's what the whole process is. So it's fun. Wednesday, May the 7th, we have a discussion group with Reverend Maureen and myself. Sometimes you want to just talk about this stuff and how it works. So we decided to just pull out one of Holmes's books and just discuss where we each are. And we have an open discussion for all of us to see where we are with this philosophy. On May the 21st at 7 p.m., we would have what we call an open mic. And this would be an evening of sharing 5 minutes of original short stories, poems, and more. So we would join, and Jenny is one of our practitioners, and she's going to be the host for that. And you got to let us know if you're going to do it, participate. I'm supposed to say that Nancy Shriver is going to cancel her Tai Chi class on the 8th and the 29th. And the Law of Attraction group has moved its meeting into the third Sunday of the month. So if you want to join us. And Chloe, would you bring out? Barbara, would you bring our gift back? Thank you, basket.
The gratitude box, the God box. Okay, good morning. Okay. I am grateful for a spiritual community. Yay. Amen.
Wow. Thank you. That is nice. So, would you stand and say the principles with me? We believe in one universal spirit, manifesting through all, natural and incarnated in us. We believe that the universal spirit is personal too, and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe that our faith operates upon the law of mind, which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life, immortality of the individual soul, forever expanding. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the giveness of life to all.
I got up this morning singing, God is so good. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. My God is so good to me. I'm feeling good down in my soul. God is so good. I'm feeling good down in my soul. God is so good. I'm feeling good down in my soul. God is so good. My God is so good to me. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. My God is so good to me. I'm feeling good down in my soul. God is so good. Yes, I'm feeling good down in my soul. God is so good. I'm feeling good down in my soul. God is so good. My God is so good to me. so good to me.
Yeah, who needs espresso? Maybe it would help. All right. So I can't wish anyone, may the 4th be with you, without remembering the many spring flings that Marcy Cowan put on, but the one that was probably the most fun was May the 4th be with you on the 5th. Because we had it on the 5th of May. That was a fun night. So, and many of you were there. And I do also want to acknowledge that this past week I was involved with ordination panels for Centers for Spiritual Living. And so Reverend Nicole Robbins is now an ordained minister within Centers for Spiritual Living. So if you have her email address, maybe drop her a little note. I know she'd be tickled to hear from you. And so this month's theme is not May the 4th be with you, but rather Confidence Unleashed. That's the theme for the month, Confidence Unleashed. And today we're sort of going to talk about the art of self-advocacy. Because I don't know that we really need to talk about that much, at least from what I see on Facebook. Everybody's got plenty to say and doesn't seem to be too shy about saying it. But, being on Facebook is kind of like, if you have an older brother and there's some guys giving you some trouble, you're like standing behind him going, yeah, and another thing. Yeah. Well, maybe it's not like that for you. But let me just say, some of the stuff that I'm reading on your Facebook pages looks like that. So this month's theme, Confidence Unleashed, announces the great potential of practicing the science of mind and spirit philosophy as we move out of just reading or studying the textbook and now actually trying to apply it in our daily life. The science of mind and spirit is about applied metaphysics, right? Just like there's applied, you have theoretical physics and then you have applied physics, right? This is applied metaphysics. How to use this really interesting way of thinking and getting it out of the thinking into the doing, right? Getting it into action. So, in other words, we start doing the work. Well, what is the work? Well, the work is identifying and discarding old ways of thinking that no longer serve us, and instead explore, what is it my heart desires? What is it my heart desires? What is it that would make my heart sing, I would get out of bed with a joyful noise like Reverend Nancy does every day. I kind of think it's funny that you're talking about joy, because anybody who knows you knows that's like that's your, what's the thing? That's your jam. See, I know how to be hip. It takes me a while. By 26, I should have, whatever people were saying in 2000. Okay. So what is it that our heart desires? What is it in life? What is it about life? What does my life need so that I can feel that spring in my step? What is it that makes my heart feel so buoyant that I get out of bed in the morning with a sense of excitement for the day rather than dread? Now, this can be a great test for us tomorrow, as tomorrow is Monday morning. So I'm driving in here today, and I heard that song, Just Another Manic Monday. Remember that one? Right. So that's my fun day. Sunday is my fun day. The rest of the days are her run day, right? So we're running. Well, how do we move into that way of seeing our life, or capturing that idea and honoring that desire, that heartfelt desire within us, that really encourage us to run into the day full steam ahead with a sense of excitement and anticipation, knowing that we are in fact working with and expressing as the creative impulse of life itself. So it's in a very real way, it's a new way to look at that idea of take up thy bed and walk. Right, so this is a story out of the New Testament in the book of John, where Jesus is said to have healed a paralyzed guy. Well, he had an excuse. He had paralyzed legs, right? Well, what's keeping us feeling paralyzed, right? What's keeping us feeling stuck? So for the modern person, it may be, what's keeping us from moving forward rather than backward? What's keeping us living in what happened yesterday, last week, last year, 10 years ago, 20 years ago? For those of us who have, we don't want to live in a past life regression, right? That's not where we want to live, right? Thank you. Someone's paying attention out there. What's keeping us from moving forward? Well, many folks don't know. Many folks don't know. Many folks have been driven by 100 forms of fear for so long that the root causes of that sense of futility or boredom or maybe creative blockage or lack of meaningful connections are buried under layers of, well, that's just the way I am, right? Which is kind of a lazy way to live life, I think. And it kind of creeps in around age 40-ish. Well, that's just the way I am. Because that's an easier thing to say or do rather than actually, in a conscious way, what is it that I'm thinking? What is it that I believe? Well, that's just the way I am. That's an old story based on a lie. That there are lies that we are still accommodating, maybe even entertaining, in a default kind of way. They've been with us so long we don't even know that that's what they are. That's turned into our default setting. We may not have even put them in there. There's so much stuff that's downloaded in us, socialized into us. And now we have this other thing that can be downloaded into us. That's designed to trigger us. And are we even really aware? It's like our thumbs take over before we can, stop and think. Well, what's this sense of outrage about? What am I afraid of? What is it that I really think? So I'm a person who believes in love and compassion, and I'm a person who believes that God is love and expression. Is that what I'm getting ready to express? Never mind what the other person is doing. We're tending to the log in our own eye. That old story is a core belief that is within you and sometimes within me that is telling us that we are deficient in some way, that we are to blame in some way. This is a lie. This is a lie. At the level of spirit, you and even me are whole, perfect, and complete. And I have to tell you that the first time I heard that, I thought that was the craziest notion I ever heard. And still some days, it feels like a crazy notion for me. But still the truth. At the level of spirit, we are whole, perfect, and complete. That there is that within us that has never been violated in any way. That it is the wellspring of the living Spirit itself within you, within me, within all beings. Our task then is to allow the truth, this truth, to come forth and make itself known. And that takes a level of courage that many of us, including myself for sure, are not always up to. And it's not about, let me just tell you what the truth is. No, it's not an exercise in the ego or for calling someone out or anything like that. Right? When we are speaking from this place of our wholeness, we really don't even have to get all caught up in language, because who we are will speak louder than anything we would have to say. Compassion would be the default. A sense of serenity, of peace, of harmony, of seeking first to understand rather than to be understood. This is what it means to allow the truth to come forward, the truth of our being to come forth. That the carpenter said it this way. He said, to be ye perfect as our Father is perfect. Not in some far-off thing like what an order I can't go through with it kind of deal, but rather knowing this is the truth of who I am if I'm willing to work at discarding the things that get in the way of its expression. And when we are having trouble knowing this truth for ourselves, then we can see what's called a practitioner. Right? So you'll often hear around here, if you've been here for a while, you'll hear that practitioners know the truth for you. Well, what's the truth that they're knowing? That at the level of spirit, you are whole, perfect, and complete. You are love expressing. Because this thing up here can tell us all the reasons why that is not so. It can also delude us into thinking that it's all so and that we don't have to do any work because we've arrived. I'm enlightened. I'm a spiritual giant. I'm a mystical wonder. Yeah, and all the people around you are going, yeah, I wonder what's got into that guy. So what's lacking, of course, sometimes, and this is the great challenge to this idea of self-advocacy, is it requires a tremendous sense of self-awareness. Now, in these ordination panels, we started off before we were interviewing the candidates. Someone would said, well, self-awareness is a spiritual principle. And I'm like, I never really thought of self-awareness as a spiritual principle, large P principle. Now, one thing that I do value in ministers and practitioners, and with people who, really in anyone, but particularly those people who are really good at something, maybe at the top of their field of something, is a sense of humility. I appreciate that. And so I would look for that, because I've done lots of these interviews now over the years, and looking for a sense of humility. But now I realize through my colleagues that really what I'm looking for is a sense of self-awareness, because humility is the result of self-awareness. Now, I don't want to blow in Jason's ear, but I'm going to do it anyway. So It's a difference between someone who thinks they can play and sing and the person who can do it, right? Am I right? And, and there's no ego or anything like that about it. It's just, they take a compliment. Thanks, I appreciate that, right? I know it's true for myself, but it's nice to have it validated too, right? That kind of thing. I played high school football with a guy who played in the Super Bowl against the Washington Redskins here in LA. His name was Gerald Small. He was our high school quarterback, and he was a great guy. And some of the little guys like me with a chip on their shoulder had to go around, proving how tough they were all the time. Gerald was just comfortable in his own skin, and he proved it out on the field. Right? So even as a 17, 18-year-old, having the self-awareness that he didn't need to do all that. And he even kind of laughed at the rest of us as we were going around, like little banty roosters, carrying on. Because he proved it on the field. So this self-awareness thing is an interesting thing. So those of you who are therapists will I can't remember the person's name now, but I didn't make this up. But the idea of, we have stuff that we know about ourselves and that everybody else knows too. Well, we can talk about that pretty openly, right? That's no big deal. Then there's the stuff that is not known by ourselves, but everybody else knows it. That's called a blind spot. I hate those. And this is where having a practitioner core can really be a pain in the butt if you're a minister. It's okay to laugh at that. All right. No, but practitioners, that is kind of where we call each other to our highest self, right? When we forget. Known to self, not known to others, that's a hidden area or a facade. And then not known to self, not known to others, it's just unknown. It's stuff that we don't know. This falls under the category that Maya Angelou used to speak to, when we know better, we do better, right? This is why it's so important to understand that the mistakes that we've made in life are an error in thought. It's an error in thought rather than an offense against the divine, right? I would even say, and now this is kind of extreme, but even to blaspheme, right? If you're living in ignorance, you wouldn't even really know that's what you were doing. But the wellspring of love itself, the most powerful creative impulse of life, expressing itself as intelligence in the universe, can't be offended by anything some little person could say or do. So for those of you who are parents, yeah, your kids will, tick you off once in a while. But is there anything really that you would not forgive them for? Right? So we're talking, and that's within the confines of a human expression. Imagine the infinite, a heart that is infinite, the sacred heart of the Most High, expressing as all, expressing as intelligence, expressing as compassion. And so before we can do this kind of excavation work, we really have to strengthen ourselves in faith, right? To know, as Ernest Holmes put it to words by saying that love is the self-givingness of spirit, the desire of life to express itself in terms of creation. That means you too, and me too, and everyone else. What about? Yeah, even there. There's no what abouts. There's no yeah buts. Love is a cosmic force whose sweep is irresistible. So before we begin the work of excavation, we really need to strengthen ourselves in this idea, strengthen ourselves in faith. Like a laborer working a shovel, we need to strengthen not our back muscles, but rather our faith muscle. So we all know what it is to get out into the garden and be a little too ambitious on that first day of spring, and we pay for it with a sore back, so sore sometimes that maybe we don't even get back out there and finish the job. Right? We can do the same thing unless we fortify and cultivate that spiritual and strengthen that spiritual muscle. That our spiritual work needs to be fortified. We want to bring the right tool to fit the task. You know, we don't bring a backhoe. We don't bring a backhoe to dig a garden. Right? We bring a shovel. We bring a hoe. We cultivate, gently turn over the soil, baby the earthworms and the little insects that are making up this whole biome that we now know soil is. We mix in a little compost, little soil amendment. Well, this is what it is to cultivate our consciousness as well. Lovingly tended to, knowing that there's some stuff that we can bring in to enrich it. To do what? To inspire more growth. So the first thing we want to do when we're digging around in this kind of inventory work is we want to get it into our head and into our hearts that you and I are expressions of love itself. You are an expression of love itself. Love as the creative impulse of life. Love expressing as intelligence. Those dumb mistakes, just a misuse of intelligence. We align our thought with spirit, and then we choose again. Holmes writes in the textbook that the greatest good that can come to anyone is the forming of an absolute certainty of themselves and of their relationship to the universe, forever remaining in a state of calm. That state of calm thing, of course, that is how you know you are in a state of awareness and not in a state of delusion. A state of awareness, peacefully abiding and with the creative impulse of life and not egoically attached to what's going on. So without strong self-awareness, you know, because you can use this teaching to get you into all kinds of trouble, to justify all kinds of things, because there is this thing called, you know, gathering evidence to support my conclusion. Oh, she thinks I'm cute. She thinks we must be meant to be with each other. Oh, and then look, you know, we actually ran into each other at the market that day. And she said something nice to me again. And this can, you know, you can build this whole delusion up only to find out that, you know, someone's afraid you're stalking them. No, that's never happened. But I have talked myself into thinking things are God's will. Yeah. And I know everyone has at some, you know, you get into this God thing, you're going to be subject to the pull of the ego to have its way. That's really all it is. And then what happens? Well, like the prodigal son, we come to ourselves. Oops, I did it again. Who was that? Who? Britney Spears. That's kind of sad that I know a Britney Spears song, but there you go. So true thought deals directly with first cause. Another way for religious scientists to talk about God as they try to, unhitch old ways of thinking of the divine so that it can be something much greater, right? To work our growing edge in our spiritual life. And that's going to change, right? So the edge is, you know, they talk about working our edge in yoga, right? So you want to, in a pose, you want to work it to where you can feel the stretch, but you don't hurt yourself. It might even be super uncomfortable, but you're not there to do injury. And that growing edge can be, on Saturday, man, boom, you're hitting it, beep, warrior, no big deal. Warrior 3, you reach back, pull up your leg, just like a little dancer. And then the next day you're like, oh God, you can't even sit in baby pose without twitching, right? So that growing edge can change daily also. All right, so let's stop talking now. So let's think about, let's call Jason up. Let's just take a little breath. Leave that chart up of the, sorry. I think I'm, there we are. Self-awareness. Let's play with that today. And we're playing with it so that by the end of this month, we can stand in the truth of our being in a new way. From a place of recognizing that at the level of spirit, I am whole, perfect, and complete. And that in this day, through this day, I am now willing to stand in the possibility that that could absolutely be the truth of my life right now. Because it is. How would my life be different? How could I bring compassion forth in my business, in my relationship? Not only with my spouse, my beloved, but with my siblings. Gulp. So play around with that today. See if you can capture some new insight that you can take into your work week this week and practice. And then we'll check in with each other next week and see how it went.
Well, I've been dreaming a crazy dream. It's been so long now, I thought it was real. As I awaken, my eyes can see all the beauty that's been there for me. And I'm feeling tomorrow shine. I'm feeling tomorrow shine. I got a brand new life ahead, and Lord knows I'll be fine. 'Cause I'm feeling tomorrow shine. Yes, well, I'm still reeling from this crazy dream. I'm starting to realize that nothing's as it seems. It's like I'm walking on brand new feet. Yeah, it's like I'm driving down a brand new street. Well, I'm feeling tomorrow shine. I'm feeling tomorrow shine. I got a brand new life ahead, and Lord knows I'll be fine. 'Cause I'm feeling tomorrow shine. But I've built my life, it seems, based on visions and crazy dreams. And when it all falls to pieces and I awaken, I come to realize that I'm not forsaken. 'Cause I'm feeling tomorrow shine. I'm feeling tomorrow shine. I got a brand new life ahead, and Lord knows I'll be fine. 'Cause I'm feeling tomorrow shine. I'm feeling tomorrow shine. I got a brand new life ahead, and Lord knows I'll be fine. Yes, I'm feeling tomorrow shine.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Goldstein.
Thank you.
Find him on all the places you download music and take him home with you. Take him home tonight. All right, I'll stop. All right. So, Chloe, if you wouldn't mind bringing up our offering basket. If you've come prepared here in the room to participate in person, make your way up as you will. For those of you joining us online, maybe you can take a moment to head over to PayPal and share your gifts there. And we're going to go into our offering song.
Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit gives through you, Spirit receives through you, Spirit lives and breathes through you. Spirit lives and breathes through you. Spirit gives to us, Spirit receives through us, Spirit lives and breathes through us. Spirit lives and breathes through us.
All right, so just going within for a moment longer as we recognize that these gifts represent both the generous heart of the individual, the receptive heart of this spiritual community. The generous heart of that individual who knows and knows that they know that God is our source, our substance, our supply. And so representing the heart of this spiritual community, we accept these gifts from whatever avenue they find their way to our center, either through the offering here this morning, through the mail, through online giving, that we know that all of it goes forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless not only the vision and mission of this center, but anyone connected to it in any way. That we know further that from this place of gratitude that we extend a blessing to our community of Granada Hills, our city of Los Angeles, our state of California, our United States of America, all of its churches, temples, mosques, schools, universities, the people who attend them, the people who support them, that we know for our planet as well, that in some crazy cosmic way, the creative impulse of life itself is in expression. And to the extent that we know this to be so, we see its, we experience it in ways great and small. This lifts our hearts. We feel a sense of grace and power that both propel us and pull us into ways of spiritual living that raise not only our own lives, but the lives of those around us as well. And that's a good thing. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. Amen. So nice to have some children here. Would anyone like to share with us today?
We have things to, yeah.
Good. Come on up.
We all did a bag. Reverend Mike asked us to do a bag for the memorial service, so he put some of his oils in it and stuff. So we did. You were going to have to pick.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So we did one, and these. So we've got 3 to pick from.
Wow, that's going to be hard.
And May 21st, we're having the open mic. We really want people to come, and so we're, with permission from their dad, and hopefully they'll be here. We've been practicing a melodrama, and it's actually working. So, and it's a real short, like 6-minute presentation. Now I thought we would start the open mic with that.
Nice.
And we're also, Carol's coming in. She's going to be Oprah.
Oh,
She's
good.
doing her Oprah. Okay.
All right, great. So that's Ginny Fox, our Director of Youth here, and Charlene, who started here as youth.
She's our visual artist.
Yes. So Charlene actually started here as youth and is now teaching our youth. So, yeah, yeah, and used to sing for us. So we'll have to see what we can do about that. Yes. So, and I do have an announcement. A longtime member of ours, Betty Lou Mayer. Some of you know her. She moved to Arizona to be with her family, made her transition this past week. So, so just keep her, she's on to the next expression, so we can know that for her with joy. She must have been well into her 90s, I'm thinking. So it was a life well lived, trust me. And she loved life. She loved 12-step. And she sang in this very room for years as one of the singers. And so we've missed her all this time anyway, but so we bless her on her next expression, yeah? Okay. So pray us out, Rev.
So, join me as we know and understand that the awareness that we are stepping into from this moment forward is the awareness that the divine presence of life is expressed in and through us as joy. And with every step we step, every thought we think, we allow that to be the cornerstone of our awareness, to know and to understand that we are the divine manifestation of life. So we joyously embrace this idea together as we say, and so it is.
Please join me in singing the peace song. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as the power, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally.